On the road, in the air, on the water. Buckle up. Always wear a life jacket.
Hi, I'm Ric Burnley, editor of Kayak Angler magazine, and I'm here with Drew Gregory today. And in addition to being the Bassmaster Kayak Series champion and Angler of the Year, he also hosts the Kayak Adventure Series, which is a really unique new series of tournaments. Drew, tell us a little bit of...
They're adventures, that's for sure.
Tell us a little bit more about the background of these tournaments and what makes them different than other tournaments.
Well, I got into kayak fishing to fish, wild and remote places, but the beauty of the kayak is that it really can go anywhere. I mean, it's kayak fishing if you're in the middle of a reservoir using live scope and motors and whatever technology you want to add to your kayak. But kayak fishing, obviously, I think the genesis really was these backwaters, the skinny water, the small stuff, being able to draft, really shallow, the rivers, the creeks. So this series is just kind of highlighting all those water types and letting the best angler that, in those water types win, right? So it's kind of like the UFC has all kinds of different fighters, right? And different styles, but in one octagon, let's see what's going to win, this style. So that's kind of what it is. And our last event was in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and the top 10, and we just posted the recap. You can go to kayakadventureseries.com and check it out. I listed the top 10 and what kind of water types they were in. The winner was in a national wildlife refuge, right? And we left open and in bounds. A great kayak fishing, place. There's tons of them all over the country. The next person was in a river. The next one was in the major reservoir, 16,000 acre reservoir. Then it was creek, and then it was reservoir again, and wildlife refuge, and river. And then it was so cool to see that so many different ways to skin a cat or catch a fish in this instance. So that's kind of what it's about, just letting people fish their style and highlighting the diversity of each one of us, which kind of ends up showing in our kayak styles and places we like to fish. But we also hold our awards in these cool historic theaters, and the whole thing is presented by GoPro. So you can imagine what we show in those theaters, guys, is the footage that the anglers are kind of like the media. You guys are media, obviously, but you can't cover all the anglers out there at one time. You can only have so many media covering the event.
So we actually have highlights from their day of fishing playing on the theater
They submit their footage, to us. They submit their footage. We put it on the screen. Typically, it's like the top 10 we bring on stage. If we have some really cool clips from those top 10 anglers with the big fish, we put them on the screen. We're in air conditioning, eating popcorn and all kinds of concessions and snacks and drinks. And it gives these tournaments a standard location to come back to, the same way the Bassmaster Elite Series has the same stage. It gives us this kind of consistency and knowing we're going to get to explore a new theater. And it's pretty cool. We got a festival that our sponsors kind of bring stuff to. It's kind of like this, but way on a smaller scale. And bounce houses for kids and games, and Toyota trucks are there. They're part of it, a sponsor as well. You can demo a Toyota truck and just kayak demos. We work with the local kayak dealer. So it's kind of like a festival, and then the awards, and it's really interesting. And the last thing I will mention, if you want to learn to become a better angler, we have a Friday morning seminar session that's presented by Bass University. It's called the Bass U Brunch. So you can come there, you eat some food, you learn, and it's just a fun experience. And everyone who's fished them is like, dude, I am fishing as many of these as I ever can. So,
and you've got some unique formats for the rules as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Rules are very different and unique. You can portage, you can, over natural man-made obstacles such as logs, and if you're, don't want to run the class 3 rapid, you can go down it. So you can get out and wade, fish, and portage as long as you stay tethered when you're fishing. But there's weird things like you can troll.
Yeah.
You can
fish two
rods at one time. You can do unique things like that. We also have a 2-man team division as well, so you've got that camaraderie aspect. We've got a 5 smallest fish, so the micro bag, which we're right here in the Z-Man booth. So the Z-Man Micro Finesse is the presenting sponsor for our micro bag. 5 smallest fish, minimum of 5 inches, so 25 inches is as good as you can do. The last tournament, it was one with 34 inches, and she won $475. It's a winner take all. So we have all these other little cool things going on, and we were even picking up trash, leaving the areas better than we found them with a Omnia fishing tackle for trash category, where you collect a bunch of trash and 2 people walk away with a gift card to Omnia Fishing. So just lots of different fun stuff in the rules and the format that just make it totally different than anything else. And a lot of our anglers, we ask them if this is your first time fishing a tournament, and I'm telling you, 1/5 of our field sometimes is like my first time. So we're trying to really grow the sport, and you can tell when you see that many hands raised that we're doing that. So because it's low intimidation for the people fishing it. And it's just 5 fish over the course of a day and a half. So Friday afternoon, which is another unique rule,
about the weekend fishing.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to ask you
that's
about
right.
next.
3 to 7.
Right.
So it's very
so
unique.
the first day of fishing.
First day of fishing is in the afternoon after
From
you
3
go
to
to
7
your
on
Bass
Friday.
U brunch on Friday morning. Then you go to fish.
So if I get off
3 to
work,
7.
I can still,
You
get
still
off
fish.
work early, I can make the tournament.
And even if you can't make it, it's just a 5-fish limit. So even
Right.
if you just fish Saturday, which
Still have a
actually
chance.
we have a prize called the Day 2 Dark Horse, which is whoever moves up the most spots from day 1 to day 2. If you got 0 on day 1 because you didn't fish or you didn't do well, you're actually in better odds to win that. And most people have 0 on day 1 win that category. So it's not all done if you can't make Friday, but it's just 5 fish. So it helps the beginner and intermediate anglers compete against anybody who might be a little bit more seasoned at that tournament, because as you know, with fishing or PGA Tour golf or whatever, the more days you give somebody, the more rounds of golf, your best golfers are going to always end up at top. So just keeping it 5 instead of 10 fish over those 2 days really helps the beginner and intermediate still compete against some of the folks they might be a little intimidated
Right.
to be competing against. But it's cool because when some of the top anglers do show up to some of our events just for a fun time, you guys get to all hang out with them and rub elbows with them and learn a little bit, because we have all this built-in time for fellowship and camaraderie. So it's pretty cool.
The key word is adventure, right?
Adventure, absolutely. We go to new places every year. We don't go back to the same places. We want to explore and adventure all kinds of new places. And next year, we've already announced here in Florida, kicking off Ocala-Palooza. They all have a festival name. If you haven't kind of picked up on our vibe here, it's very much a festival feel. But Ocala-Palooza, which includes, right near Ocala, is Orange Lake. If you don't know, Orange Lake is ranked #1 in Bassmaster Magazine, the one that came out a month ago. #1 lake ranked in the country, or at least in the Southeast, but in the country, I believe it might have been. So #1, they catch double digits out of there all the time. The Withlacoochee River is also on the list, and Lake Rousseau. You've also got the Panisofsky, Lake Panisofsky, also on that list, all within our boundary. So it's going to be exciting. And then we're heading to, after that, Paris, Texas, to fish the new Lake Bodart that just opened up this year, and they're already catching 10-pounders. It's like a 15,000, 16,000 acre lake, so it's not normal to see new lakes open up anymore,
Right.
you know what I mean, and get built, because we've kind of built them all, right? We've dammed up all the lakes and rivers, and we have the water we need. So this is very unique, and Texas Parks and Wildlife has taken it from the very beginning, say, we're building with the intent of making the next Lake Fork, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
or O.H. Ivy. And they stocked it with Sherlunker offspring from a 14-pounder. They're already 10 pounds. They stocked them until like 2019, so they're already 10 pounds. It's going to be crazy next year. That's the weekend after the Bassmaster Classic, and then we head over to, we've already announced these, so we head over to South Boston, Virginia, so back over there close to where you are, and it's right near the border of Virginia and North Carolina, so got some North Carolina lakes and bounds, Virginia lakes and rivers and bounds, so that's going to be exciting. And then we've already announced the Upper Mississippi River, which no one ever goes to. It's way up above Minneapolis, so that's going to be wild for its smallmouth haven next year. And then also the last one we've announced is further down in the Mississippi, Clinton, Iowa, right across from Illinois on the river there. There's a showboat theater. We'll be in a showboat theater. It's no longer an actual working showboat, but it's dry docked, and they use it as a theater. So we're going to be on the Mississippi for our awards. So that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, we still have 3 events left this year, including our finale, which is, you don't have to qualify for it, which is called Broodstock. And that's where we'll give away our Angler of the Year and Team of the Year prizes. And over $40,000 in prizes are already committed to be given away at that event. We're not counting the cash that you guys are going to, obviously pay to enter, and we'll pay back. So it's going to be pretty wild. And our Angler of the Year is going to win over $12,000 in cash and prizes. It's pretty exciting, man, to see how much these sponsors are really, just
Getting on board. They
getting
like
on
something
board,
new
and
fresh.
it's new, fresh, and couldn't do it without like GoPro and all that they've done for us. And they see the vision of how this is the way you cover the events, and their tool makes it easy to do that. So yeah, it's exciting. We'll see. It could be the future of kayak fishing, I think, to get out there and expose the places that haven't been exposed yet.
And you can read more about it in issue 53 of Kayak Angler magazine.
You can.
Plug.
You can.
Drew, we're really excited about the rest of the year and the tournament series, and to see what you guys got cooked up for next year. So
Yeah, I can't
appreciate
wait.
you taking some time and sharing the information with us.
Sure, Rick.
Thanks, buddy.